What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another Battlefield 6 gun guide. In today's episode, by popular request, we're going to be diving deep into the stats of the SVK-8.6 DMR, and toward the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing a couple excellent attachment combinations to use with this one. And without further ado, let's dive right into this with our raw power potential. This gun has the slowest rate of fire potential in the DMR category at just 150 rounds per minute. However, it's going to be a 2-shot kill to the body at any range. And that's a major strength with this. It's super consistent when it comes to that 2-shot kill. And with this, you can see we have 3 different damage ranges. And in the first damage range, it's a very short damage range. It won't even show up in the firing range for you since it only extends out to 9.5 meters. But within this range, by default, it's actually a 1-shot headshot as well. So that's pretty great. However, we can actually extend that 1-shot headshot range up to 21.25 meters if we use the hollow point ammunition. So that's a great attachment to be using on this gun. Also, I do want to point out, if we're just getting that 2-shot kill to the body, our time to kill is 400 milliseconds, which is technically a little better than average for a DMR, but putting that up against like assault rifles, carbines, SMGs, or LMGs in close quarter situations, this is an extremely slow time to kill potential. Many of those guns could kill you twice over before you can kill them once with this gun. Although that's just talking about close ranges, at long range we maintain that time to kill potential, and 400 milliseconds at a very long distance is generally quite a good time to kill in this game. Next, let's have a bit of a different look here at our damage ranges relative to the other DMRs, and you can see here, it's the only DMR with that really short 9.5 meter range, but it's also the only DMR with a 2-shot kill potential to the body. And really, ranges aren't as relevant on DMRs as many of the other guns in the game, since we see perfect consistency at all ranges when it comes to the number of shots required to kill to the body. In either case, after that, let's have a look at our muzzle velocity values. And as we can see, with the base barrel, which isn't the default barrel that you get with the SVK, you actually get the extended barrel by default. But with the base barrel, just so we have an apples to apples comparison here, we have the slowest muzzle velocity in the DMR category at 720 meters per second. You can, of course, just bump that up with the extended barrel to 900 meters per second, though, which is an excellent velocity value. As for hipfire, I would highly recommend avoiding hipfire whenever possible with any of the DMRs, really. They're just not good at hipfiring, especially due to their very unforgiving rate of fire. Even if you're hitting all of your shots to the body up close, your time to kill is pretty bad, and if you miss one, then it just skyrockets from there. So I would reserve hipfiring for very desperate situations. And now let's take a look at our recoil, and as you can see here with the SVK, there is a pretty big jump between the first and second shot fired, but then it settles in really nice and you see a very tight grouping for every other shot that you fire after the initial shot. And I should also mention, while there is recoil between those shots, it's just recentering between each of those shots very nicely. And as a result, aside from the first shot fired, you can pretty reliably just spam this and have faith in the fact that your gun is going to be recentering to your point of aim between each one of those shots. Also, unlike many of the full auto guns in the game where recoil control involves like actively counteracting by pulling down on your aim as you're firing, in the case of the SVK, I find instead of pulling down, you're better off just pausing that little bit extra, and that will allow the gun to recenter after that first shot fired. So if you are trying to like counter snipe somebody across the map, I would just get my point of aim where it needs to be, and then just have a slight pause between the first and second shot fired, and I find very reliably those will both hit the target. Now, moving on, let's have a look at our handling stats. And unfortunately, the SVK does have the slowest aim down sight time in the DMR category at 367 milliseconds. And while, of course, aim down sight time on a DMR isn't going to be as important as an SMG, for instance, it's still a factor to take into account, so I would recommend using an attachment to help bring that down. Whereas for all of our other stats, they're really not out of the ordinary for the DMR category. And that, of course, carries over to our mobility stats as well. We just have standard mobility with this, and that means our aim walking speed is going to be quite slow relative to most of the other guns in the game, and therefore you're not going to be able to strafe side to side really quickly in a gunfight, not that you would typically want to with a gun like this. And then finally, when it comes to our REDSEC stats, this gun is going to be a 3 to 4 shot kill against 2 armor plates to the body, meaning our time to kill up close is 800 milliseconds, which is not very good for REDSEC, so you'd typically want to pair this with something that really excels in close quarter situations. And then at a distance, our time to kill is 1200 milliseconds, which is also very slow for REDSEC, but when you get to those longer ranges, it's less about time to kill and more about hitting your shots consistently, and you can do that very confidently with this gun. Also, you can mix some headshots in there to reduce that value. So on paper, just looking at the time to kill, this gun might not look very good, but realistically, it's actually got quite a bit of potential in REDSEC when it's specifically used as a ranged gun in combination with a close quarters gun. And with all of that out of the way, we can finally get into a couple excellent attachment combinations, and I really like these ones on the SVK 8.6. The first one I wanted to share is my versatile build. This one's designed to be able to handle a fairly wide range of situations, so you're not totally useless in close quarters, but you can also extend out to very long ranges just fine with this. So with this, we're using the SU230 LPVO optic. This is a variable zoom optic that goes from a 1 magnification up to a 4 magnification, so you can toggle between those depending on the situation you're in. Generally, I'll be staying in the 4 magnification unless I really just need to like push a building, for instance, or I know somebody's pushing me really hard. Then on top of that, we're using the long suppressor, and this one is kind of key to the recoil because it helps with recoil recovery, and that stat in particular is very important with this gun, much more so than a standard full auto gun in this game. That's actually going to have a bigger impact than an attachment that just straight up reduces the amount of recoil you experience. So that's why I like that one on there. It also keeps us off the radar and makes sure we're not live spotting ourselves, which is especially important with a DMR since you're often counter-sniping. But then after that, we're using the extended barrel on there for that nice boost to our muzzle velocity up to 900 meters per second. We're also using the slim angled underbarrel grip. This one reduces our aim down sight time down to 300 milliseconds, which is nice. Then after that, we're using the standard 10 round mag on this, and we're topping this off with hollow point, which just as a reminder, with that hollow point ammo, we now get a one-shot kill to the head out to 21.25 meters. And therefore, when you get to those close quarters situations, try to land that headshot, because if you don't, your time to kill is going to be quite a bit slower than most of the guns you're going to be coming up against. And that is just an excellent build that I really enjoy using with the SVK. However, I do have another build for you guys, and this one's designed primarily for very long ranges and essentially counter-sniping. That's actually one of the areas where the SVK really excels, is taking out enemy snipers, because you have better handling than them, and you can get those quick follow-up shots on them as well. So unlike a sniper where you're relying on hitting that headshot for a one-shot kill unless you're in the sweet spot range, in this case, you just go for that 2-tap every single time, and you can do that way more consistently than many people are able to hit that one headshot with a sniper rifle. But with this one, for our optic, we're using the SM Rifle Variable. This is a 2 to 8 magnification optic, so it allows you to really stretch those ranges out and see your target nice and clearly. This time we're using the Lighten Suppressor, which also helps a bunch with that recoil recovery, but this time it doesn't hurt our sway, since that's going to come into the equation a lot more at really long ranges. Then we're once again using the extended barrel, the slim angled grip, the standard 10 round mag, and this time we're using the match grade ammo. And this is very important because it reduces our drag coefficient down to 0.001, and this helps a ton with extremely long range shots, especially in combination with the extended barrel. This just means you're going to get a much flatter trajectory. You don't have to account for that bullet drop or bullet travel time nearly as much with that ammo. And with all of these combined, this just makes for a really nice counter sniper build, and I would highly recommend giving it a shot if you guys haven't yet. And there we have it. That's finally going to wrap it up today's gun guide on the SVK 8.6. And when it comes to my thoughts on this DMR, first off, I want to state my bias. I'm generally not a DMR type player. I like getting right up into the action, being a lot more aggressive. I like SMGs a lot more, for instance. But in saying that, after putting some time in with the SVK, I really enjoy this gun. I think primarily just due to its consistency with that 2-shot kill and its ability to counter-snipe people. And I'm really glad I finally got around to putting some time in with this gun, because I enjoy it way more than I expected. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about the SVK in those comments down below. And once again, as always, if there's a gun that I haven't covered yet that you would like to see me cover, please let me know which gun that is in the comments down below. And if you missed any of the previous episodes, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.